said like I share 95% of my DNA with the chimpanzee,
Mm.
but I share 50% with my father. That's weird, isn't it? Oh, sorry. Hi, hello, and welcome to the Jib. This bi-weekly podcast is about the many and varied schemes of the many and varied U.S. law enforcement and intelligence agencies, organizations, and committees, which apparently will also include the NSA at some point, and how they are stupid and funny. Join us on our merry journey through space and time. Hi, my name is Barry, and I gotta be honest, I'm fine with being that guy.
It's about time.
I mean, I don't see the problem. You gotta break a few eggs, you know?
Yeah, it's about time you just dialed right into that.
Yeah, I'm that guy. And I go, don't be that guy. Why not? Be that guy. It's okay. It's okay. That's me.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Seamus. I'm the guy that had to get at the butt crack at dawn to do this episode because today is a national holiday. It's the most important day of the year. If you live in America, it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Oh, Super Bowl Sunday. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the Seattle Seahawks
Nice.
against the New England pedophiles.
Okay.
So
first of all, I can't believe a team would actually be called the Seahawks. So we
Right?
can just stop right there.
I know.
Also, this is not a special effect. This is a real thing I'm going to show you now.
Bro.
It's sunshine.
It's really bright. Oh, now it's
Settle down. Do you see the blue sky?
oh, that's a lovely yard.
And that's my car. That's my little electric car. And that's my front. And then I don't know if I put it up, but you can see them building houses. That's bird poo. You can see them building houses across the road.
Yeah,
That's a construction site.
the bird poop is just great aesthetic. I just must say, yeah, awesome.
Anyway, yeah. So that's where I live, and that's the front of my house. But sunshine and blue skies. That's lovely, right? I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Good
That's
deal.
fantastic. It's been raining pretty much non-stop since the middle of November for real in Ireland. The river's up. Everything's crazy. So I don't know, man. Just a lot of water.
I'm still snow covered. I still got 2 feet of snow outside my door.
Yeah, but you're built for it. Like when you get 2 feet of snow every year is what I'm saying.
No, not that much. This is record highs right now.
Yeah, well, if we got that, like our whole country would be shut down. They'd send
Right.
children home from school. They'd say, "How are we going to go? We'd have to have the supplies airlifted by helicopter or groceries." Like, there's no Irish people can't handle that at all. We also can't handle constant rain. A bit of rain is fine. It's supposed to drizzle occasionally, and we are a rainy climate because we are.
Oh, you're taking the roads in tonight.
Yeah, they're taking the roads in. Father Ted. So yeah. But we're not here to talk about Father Ted.
No. We are going to talk. So I kind of told you a little bit in the green room as to not the topic, but most of this is being taken directly from an article, actually 2 articles, I believe, from the LA Times by Peter H. King.
Nice.
On today's topic, the LA 8. You have no idea what I'm going to talk about. You are familiar?
I'm unfamiliar.
Okay.
That's good,
Los
right?
Angeles, the early 1980s.
Oh, cool.
The Los Angeles in which the case took root was the midst of transformation on its way to becoming what boosters as the time called a world city, right?
Racist.
Yep. Refugees were pouring in from seemingly every corner of the planet, from Soviet Armenia to Mexico, El Salvador, Cambodia, South Korea,
And
Philippines, Thailand, Pakistan. You get it, right?
Yeah.
Many did not leave their political passions and causes behind in the old
Here we
country. Palestinians
Here
were
we
no
go.
exception.
Careful
They
now.
followed closely the fighting that was underway with Israeli troops in Lebanon. They kept themselves informed on dismal conditions of the refugees camps.
From Los Angeles, these Palestinians.
Yes,
Okay.
we followed the news, right?
Yeah.
Palestinian community worldwide was energized to rebuild hospitals, start clinics, and help alleviate human suffering. Those with opposing views about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which I don't like that term, but anyways, took notice of the heightened Palestinian profile in America. In 1983, a booklet published by the never terribly bad group called the Anti-Defamation League, quote, beginning in June with Israel's military action against the PLO in Lebanon, a pro-Arab propaganda network, which had been growing steadily in the United States for many years, erupted in full force. At the same time, there were suspicions in Southern California that Palestinian activists might be up to more political propaganda.
What's the Arabic for Hasbara?
What's that? Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. And investigative article in the now defunct New West magazine asserted that Palestinians in Los Angeles were created had created quote an operational base of international terrorism,
Oh, Jesus.
and the government was doing little.
Okay.
In an article, an FBI supervisor complained about the lack of quote legal tools. We can't even start to investigate a terrorist group until we have solid information that they are planning, say, to bomb a building. Not that they are talking about it, but they are already bought the fuses, wires, and electric clock.
We can't investigate a terrorist group until we have our man in there buying bombs.
Yeah,
Cook.
pretty close. That's an older photo of this gentleman. His name is Frank H. Knight.
He does not look or sound like a Palestinian.
No, he is a special agent with the FBI.
Okay.
He was a Midwesterner who joined the FBI in the late 1970s. He was well into his 30s, not in that photo, having served as a Army officer in Vietnam and a junior high school science teacher. He was assigned to Los Angeles office counter-terrorist detail in 1980. Over the next 4 years, he would prove to not only be determined, but also creative, developing theories about domestic terrorism and how to combat it that appeared to have been years ahead of their time. So, Summer Olympics came to LA in '84, accumulating with months of scrutiny and potential terrorist suspects beginning around 1983. For 3 years, Knight and fellow investigators tailed, I'm going to butcher a bunch of names here, might as well get off to a good start. Kadar Muse Hamid, a Burbank busboy who immigrated to the U.S. from the West Bank on a Jordanian passport in '71. They followed him to a go-between express bar cafe in Silver Lake, where he was overheard saying something about presentation of the case and problems
Okay.
as he poured over documents
I
with
mean,
two
that's
companions.
that's a normal kind of conversation to hear in Silver Lake, though.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. They followed him to a Carl's Jr. in Glendale. It caught more snippets of a conversation. Rent a building.
Again,
Progressive
again, wait now. That's a very, very normal thing to hear in Glendale. They're always renting buildings there. What?
progressive Republican.
Oh,
Mayday.
okay. That's not something you hear in Glendale.
No, no. They staked out his Glendale apartment and watched him load boxes of publications, including copies of the Al Hadef from his car. An LA sheriff's deputy happened to live in the same building and happened to notice regular visits of several Arab males to Hamid's apartment. I'm still just waiting for the red flag. I don't know about you, but yeah. As his investigations proceed, Knight began to read up on Palestinian politics, in particular, the the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine,
Ah, yes.
the PFLP,
There you go.
which is a Palestinian Marxist-Leninist political and
Yeah.
military organization founded in 1967 by George Habash after the Arab-Israel War. It combines secular leftist ideology with Palestinian nationalism, advocating for the liberation of Palestine through revolutionary struggle and the establishment of a socialist state. It is considered a terrorist organization by the U.S., European Union, and
Yeah,
others.
almost everyone.
Yep. Today it remains a smaller but influential faction wing within the Palestinian politics, particularly in the opposition to both Israel occupation and more moderate Palestinian leadership. As it evolved over the years, it became more of a social fabric of the Palestinian territories. It also opened medical clinics and schools. So these good works did not impress Knight, however. Asked in a deposition, foreshadowing, about the daycare centers and kindergartens, he replied, "You engage in these activities for some reason. One being humanitarian reason, the other is a recruitment vehicle. Gain the hearts and minds of the mother, and she will send your son to war." Sorry, her son to war.
Hmm.
I believe that it was impossible to dedicate to the PFLP with its Marxist ideology and still be a law-abiding citizen. The PFLP is interested in no less than subjugation of the entire world under the communist regime, and not mere establishment of a Palestinian state. The PFLP people, by virtue of their creed, hate the United States and all the U.S. Constitution stands for. To the committed PFLP members, pulling a trigger is no different than selling a subscription to the Al Hadef and soliciting money for the cause of the same as killing Zionists. Every act has a political message. Every utterance carries a terrorist purpose.
Okay.
I mean, they sound pretty fucking frightening, dude. I mean, I'm scared. I
They
don't
do,
know about
yeah.
you. So,
See, if this was today, you just have them deported.
oh,
Of course, you can't do that back in 1980.
well, really? 1984, the object of Knight's investigation had become clear: to neutralize the PFLP in Southern California by removing Hamad. He described Hamad, remember, who's a busboy, right?
Yeah.
He studied marketing at the University of Oregon and gained permanent residence status as intelligent, aggressive, and dedicated. A great leadership ability. Taking him out of action, he wrote to his superiors, would severely hinder the PFLP in LA.
Wait a minute. When you say taking them out of action, is that like with extreme prejudice, or
It doesn't say, but I don't. I
Okay.
mean, this guy is like, this guy would have his own podcast now. Like,
well, let's just say he appears to be ideology driven.
yes. Knight began to stake out fundraisers created by Hamid,
Yeah.
noting that he did little of the physical work, but gave plenty of orders. The speeches at the events, Knight would later report after obtaining translations, were all anti-peace, anti-U.S. peace settlement, and anti-Jordanian peace settlement, and anti-Israel. Does that sound normal?
I don't know. I'm anti all those peace settlements as well.
I mean, come on, yeah.
All
One
you have
summary
to do is
element.
give us total control over all aspects of your land, and then you'll have peace. Just give us
Yeah.
total control. Why do you have a problem with that? Oh, look, see, this is the problem. The Palestinians just don't want peace. We gave them a peace officer, a peace deal, and they
Yep.
turned it down.
Yep.
And they keep doing this. They keep turning. All we want is total control over every aspect of your lives. What's the
Wait,
problem?
it's going to get worse. One summary also mentioned anti-Reagan overtones.
Uh-oh.
Still,
I'm surprised they're not tones. They're only overtones. Surely you'll be anti-Reagan directly blatant, no?
yeah, especially, I mean, we're 84, it's his wheelhouse, right? So actually, I think 85, 86 maybe. Anyways, still it was a difficult criminal case to build because there's no crime. Various Palestinian charity organizations were listed as the official sponsors of fundraisers, and donation checks were made out to them. Knight, relying on what he said was a single confidential source, regarding this as a sham.
Okay.
I
Is Frank Knight the single confidential source?
That's what I really wonder. I gotta
Okay.
wonder. They believed it made little difference if the funds were earmarked for the beginning works. Donations to the PFLP kindergarten simply would free up money for the PFLP AK-47s.
You might be able to get like a criminal act there somewhere if they're funneling cash to a terrorist organization.
Sure, if it's real, but we know the United States is a money-making apparatus for the PFLP from their captured documents.
The United States is a money-making apparatus for literally everybody.
Right. The group committed lots of attacks on people, lots of military acts as well, and it's not free. It costs money, and money is fungible.
That is true.
That's good. Yeah. In his view, even the dancers who performed at fundraisers were supporting the PFLP. They put on a show for you, said of the Nakba, NABCA. I think it's NABCA.
What do you mean?
DABCA. DABKA.
Okay, now Nakba is something else.
Yeah, that's my bad. It's the whole ambience that generated in a thing that causes people to reach into their pockets and give money.
Yeah, that's called a fundraiser, and you will find that
Yes.
with everybody.
Yes.
I can't believe that they did something interesting that people might want to show up for their fundraiser.
Yeah. I wonder if this guy ever went to church on Sunday. It's kind of the same fucking thing.
No.
I mean, anyways, there was, however, a problem with Knight's theory. His supervisors in Washington were not buying it. I'm actually surprised. 3 times he had laid out the evidence he gathered and asked headquarters for permission to open an official investigation, but their response was rather blunt. FBI HQ has again reviewed LA's request to determine that Hamid is associated with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine principles and activities. The circumstances presented concerning his affiliation activities do not demonstrate preparation for terrorism, but rather the exercise of his rights as guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution and its amendments. Therefore, LA's request is again denied.
Well, that's the end of that then. Short episode.
I mean, I'm just kind of shocked, but
Yeah.
An FBI agent in New York who shared Knight's interests suggested he team up with immigration authorities. You called it. And there was an agent, Knight wrote, a significant upside to this novel approach. INS deportation hearings are not criminal trials, and the rules of evidence are less stringent. Such hearsay, disclosure, sources, etc.
Sometimes you don't need any evidence at all.
Yeah. Knight met with an attorney of the INS in LA. He was briefed on the McCarran-Walter Act, the provision dealing with deportation of communists, which we've touched about before in the Palma raids and Lavender Scare.
The only McCarran I know is the airport in Las Vegas.
Yeah. He revisited the Marxist ideology expressed by the PFLP magazines that Hamid and his associates distributed. Yeah. He also requested that an INS agent be loaned to his investigation, the one that he's not supposed to be starting.
Yeah,
this was done, although the INS supervisor who authorized the assignment later said that he had been felt somewhat left in the dark about the case that Knight was building. I don't think we knew the full deck of cards was. I'm not sure we were completely in the loop. Nonetheless, INS would authorize the arrest, and Knight informed the FBI of his plans. This novel approach would utilize the information developed from the FBI investigation with the INS deportation laws. He met in Washington, and supervisors came away believing that the U.S. Attorney General supported their effort, but he didn't. Anyways, again, this is directly from one of the articles written by King. On a rain-soaked Saturday afternoon in Glendale, California in 1986, a handful of young Palestinians gathered at the Glendale Civic Auditorium to prepare for an evening fundraiser. The event, a night of ethnic food, folk dancers, political speeches delivered in Arabic, would be attended by an estimated 1,200 men and women and children, most of them immigrated from the Middle East. It had been promoted as a festival celebrating the 18th anniversary of the PFLP. The underlying purpose, organizers said, was to generate donations for the homeland, in particular to provide medical care and schooling in Palestinian refugees camps. The preparation seemed fairly unremarkable. Posters were taped to the wall. Palestinian magazines, including copies of the PFLP publication Al Hadith, were arranged on tables.
Yeah.
Troupe of amateur dancers practice a folk dance known as the Nabka. Before the rehearsal, one dancer removed the American flag from its standard on the stage and laid it in the back walls of the wings. This did not go unnoticed.
No.
Earlier that day, FBI Special Agent Frank H. Knight hid himself inside an engineering...
Inside the flag.
Yeah.
As he was gently moved backstage during the performance.
Yep. Booth outfitted with a window to overlook the auditorium. He would remain there at his deep post into the night, stacking rolls of photos. Yep. Rolls of pictures, recording snippets of speeches, narrating what he saw to a tape recorder. After the INS agent joined his investigation, Knight learned that Hamid was about to send a letter invitation becoming a full-fledged U.S. citizen, right? Okay. So he's trying to it's the final step of immigration, right?
Yep.
Acting on Knight's information, the INS withheld that invitation.
Okay.
Now, whatever other subjects, Michael Shahadid was born in 1956 in Amman, Jordan, to a family of Palestinian origin. His family belonged to Palestinian Christian community, part of the broader diaspora shaped by this displacement of 700 to 750,000 Palestinians
Just to let
during
you
the
know,
yeah.
Jordan is about half the population of Jordan, maybe more than half the population of Jordan is Palestinian.
Mhm.
So it's not like a minority or anything.
Right.
Right.
Displaced during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Michael immigrated legally to the United States in '75 as a teenager on a student visa from the West Bank to pursue higher education. He initially settled in California, where he navigated cultural and economic landscape in the mid-'70s. Michael was close to becoming a naturalized citizen, and on January 26, 1987, two men and a woman, all dressed in gray, came into his Long Beach house. They announced that they were from the INS. As he opened the door, Michael's first vaguely formed thought was that these immigration officials had come to welcome America's newest citizen. Michael remembers the sweat that rolled down the chin of the agent who held him in a headlock.
Welcome to America, son.
Yeah, his 3-year-old son had burst into the front room, wailing, and another agent placed him on the couch. Michael tried to wiggle free, wanting to comfort his boy. The agent who had hold of him said, "Don't be stupid. You don't want your son to watch you get hurt."
Was the small child rigged out with a suicide vest? Holding machine gun, screaming Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, that's what they would assume, right?
That's what Frank Knight's going to write.
Yeah. Michael was told that he belonged to a terrorist organization and was under arrest. Hey, Mike, you didn't know this, but yeah.
You belong to a terrorist organization. What? Yeah, from now on, you belong to.
They handcuffed him and led him outside. A police helicopter wheeled low over the house,
Oh, Christ.
and that is when he thought his thoughts clicked. He had witnessed this scene before. Quote, "The raid on my house in Long Beach looked exactly like raids in the West Bank. Early morning raids with helicopters, guns, police, and uniforms. Take it away in a hazy dawn, except this was happening in America."
Compton and Long Beach. N-word, you know you're in trouble.
Yep. It took me some time to sort out emotional response. In the back of in the back of a Palestinian mind, someday somebody is always going to come and take you away.
Yeah, I imagine it's fucking, what do you call that when you're constantly on alert? PTSD. I imagine they have PTSD from that, yeah.
A Palestinian expects this nonsense. We live it.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to nowadays, if you are an immigrant or just happen not to be white.
Yeah. Can you
the big
just
claims,
go to your job and live your life? No?
Nope.
Not in Minnesota.
Hamid claims that the officers and agents burst into his Glendale apartment with guns drawn. They showed him a subpoena. He did not understand. It seemed to indicate that they had come to seize magazines. Quote, "So I gave them magazines." That's funny.
Christ.
This is really very indicative of the case. They came in with a subpoena for a magazine, no baseball bats, no guns, no whatever, because they knew I ain't got none. Aid Khalid Barakat, sorry folks if I got that wrong, recalls the knock on his door. He looked down from the upstairs window and saw a lone Glendale police officer on his porch. There was a problem, the police officer explained. They needed to talk. The minute I turned the key to unlock the door went in like a bulldozer. They pushed in like 10 feet, and people came in, about 15 to 18 of them.
That's too many people for a guy that doesn't have a gun.
Yeah. Ahmed Obeid, who was studying at Cal State Long Beach with his brother, was asleep in his underwear. He opened his eyes to a barrel of a gun. They were allowed to dress and then put into a police car. Seated next to him was Agent Knight. Quote, "A big, tall guy. A tough guy. He was tough. Intimidation was part of the plan. We are the government. You are nobody." He said that the agent warned him that if he didn't cooperate, he'd be hauled off to the Middle East country known for hostility towards Palestinian troublemakers. They'd love to have you for lunch. You guys are here on a visa. You say you come here to study in our country and you're doing this to us? How dare you? You know, we can flick you and nobody will care. Flick you. Now, this is, Abid. Yes, those were his exact words. He raised a hand and swatted on the table. Flick you like a fly. Because Because I first read that, I was like, what is this guy just like censoring himself? Anyways.
Well, flick you.
Yeah. They initially were kept in isolation cells, described ominously as national security threats. Trips to the federal courthouse to downtown LA were made in convoys, unmarked vans driven at a pace that was shocking to shackled terrorist suspects. Truly terrifying. Hamid, one of 100 miles an hour, like we were being transported the biggest mafia head of the Italian to court. You are going to kill us, man. There was no reason for it. They knew the whole thing was a put on. They were transported in shackles and not permitted to shave or make, well before the camera shoots.
Oh,
So it
those
made
are
them all look, more
disheveled.
hideous. Yeah.
Mm.
So again, January 26, 87, FBI and INS agents arrested 8 Southern California residents, 7 Palestinian, 1 Kenyan. They would be known as the LA 8.
What's that one Kenyan guy doing?
I don't know. He just
Hey,
happened to be
everybody,
there.
I'm from Kenya. How y'all doing? We've never seen this guy before. We don't know anything about him.
So that's the 8.
I think I found the Kenyan.
They were to be deported for their ties to an organization that causes to be written, circulated, distributed, published, and displayed written, printed matter advocating, teaching economic, international government doctrines of communism.
Okay. Is that
It's
crime?
evil. It's evil.
But is that a crime to publish communist books?
Well, under the McCarran doctrine we just talked about,
Oh, okay.
Arab American leaders condemned. I mean, I don't know. They're going to try to say it is. We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Arab American leaders condemned the arrest as a witch hunt, old-fashioned Arab bashing. They were suggesting that the roundup was a crude response by the Reagan administration to taking U.S. hostages in Beirut.
Ah, I mean, they might be right about that.
Well, another theory was that the government wanted a test case. Shortly after the arrest, a secret government document discussing such plan was leaked to the media. The document was called the Alien. Whoops, where'd you go?
Nope, sorry. Yeah. Oh, here we
There
go.
we go.
Here we go. Alien Border Control, ABC Committee, Group 4 Contingency Plan. Oh, I love this shit. I
The
love
document was called the Alien Terrorist Undesirables, a Contingency Plan,
Okay.
from an article by Ben Wolford for Politico. It was a small manila envelope, no return address, no note inside, a typewritten government member, barely legible. The package had been sent out to one of the attorneys for the LA 8, who rushed it to Mark Vanderhout, his co-counsel. Vanderhout was bewildered as he schemed through. The 40-page memo described the government contingency plan for rounding up thousands of legal alien residents of 8 specified nationalities: Libya, Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Tunisia, Algeria, Jordan, and Morocco.
Okay.
Emergency legal measures would be deployed, rescinding the right to bond, claiming the privilege of confidential evidence, excluding the public from deportation hearings, among others. In its final pages, buried in a gaze of bureaucracy, the memo struck its notes. A procedure to detain and intern thousands of aliens while they awaited what would be presumably becoming a mass deportation. Van Erdenpart read the final pages detailing conjured a vivid image of mass detaining facility. 100 outdoor acres into the backwoods of Louisiana, replete with specifications for tents, fencing, materials, cot measurements, plumbing requirements. So 4 decades had passed since the U.S. closed the World War II era internment camps, a disgraceful chapter when, without cause, the federal government forcibly relocated 120,000 Japanese Americans,
Yeah.
imprisoned them across a archetypal of camps pocketing in the American South and West. Now a working group in the Reagan administration, while grasping for a similar sounding measure. In 87, the targets would not be Japanese Americans, but Middle East aliens.
Ah.
Lawful U.S. residents without the protection of green cards. In 87, after the memos existing, by the way, this was written in 2019, this article I'm reading from. In 87, after the memo's existence was briefly exposed, the ABC committee was promptly terminated, the subgroup and the plan abandoned. But
Okay.
the idea born in anxiety of the 80s, having gained new currency in the years since. In the wake of 9/11, Americans began detaining foreign nationals deemed threats to the U.S. Problematic through legal grounds might be in a place called Guantanamo Bay.
Uh,
Yep. And with every fresh attack at home or abroad, our demand for aggressive prosecution mounts. It is this fear that has underpinned the platform of one Donald Trump as he promises to ban Muslims,
Banning
blocking
Muslims. Right.
yep, blocking travel from countries compromised by terrorists and removing millions in a Herculean deportation scheme. Trump, however, unlittly was drawing from much of the framework as the plan was advocated by the ABC committee. So, seems pretty almost spot on to what's fucking going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, government officials. Sorry?
Stephen Miller stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Government officials sought to downplay the document's importance, saying it was merely a draft of a possible approach. Its airings nonetheless railed support for the rest of Palestinians. American Civil Liberties Union and National Lawyers Guild, along with high-profile lawyers such as Leonard Weinglass of Chicago 7 fame, or, you know I'm talking about Chicago 7, Abby Hoffman and all them, came riding over the hill. After 18 days in detention, the 8 were led in chains to the courtroom of immigration Judge Roy Daniel for bond hearing. Outside, Irv Rubin of the national leader of Militant Jewish Defense League marched around with a placard, "Commie dogs beware." These guys are just great, just great. The government came into the court with a generic treatise on the
Bit rich coming
PFLP.
from a Jewish guy, isn't it? The religion that gave us Marx and Lenin and Trotsky.
Yeah. Pictures of Palestine, Palestinian men dancing, and promises of more persuasive secret evidence that, under orders from the U.S. attorney, would be produced only in chambers away from the respondents, their lawyers, in public.
That's bullshit.
You know who else thought it was bullshit? The judge. He
Yeah.
wondered aloud what the various PFLP atrocities described in the government literature had been to do with the particular Palestinians. Had they hijacked planes? Had they plotted bus bombs? Had they refused any, sort of orders against them? He refused to hear the secret evidence. The government lawyer described the fundraisers and demonstrations. She also offered to share in chambers Knight's classified FBI report. "I'm going to ask that you do this in public," Daniel said.
Yeah.
The government lawyer again responded, "Because of national security interests, she could not. Maybe she could approach the bench and whisper her secrets in the judge's ear." He refused and ordered the 8 released. Some on their own, and the rest had to post a nominal bail. They smiled, hugged each other, and were put back in chains for the drive to Terminal Island, where they'd be freed. Outside the courthouse, their supporters danced the Dabka.
You remember when Joe Biden said, well, the Israelis said that they had photos of the babies that Hamas beheaded, and Joe Biden said he saw them, but these photos could only be shown in secret to certain select people, and they said, no, eventually we'll make it public. It never happened.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's bullshit, yeah.
Later, as he and the others were led to the detention facility, Hamid glanced back over his shoulder and spotted Knight, peering down from overhead stairway. Their eyes locked. He said that it was a moment Knight shot at Hamad, a look that he had never forgot. It was like he said, "You bastards," just a cold-blooded look of hatred. So this Knight's got some issues.
Yeah.
If we haven't already spelled that out. 2 months later,
Break up with a Palestinian girl or something.
It may be. 2 months later, the then FBI Director William Webster testified at a congressional hearing that the agency had investigated the 8 because they were suspected of ties to the Popular Front, acknowledged that the agency had found no evidence of criminal or terrorist activity, and that if these individuals had been U.S. citizens, there had been no basis for their arrest.
Well, that's it. End of episode. That was a short one today.
So, Congress repealed the McCarran-Walter Act. which is
Okay.
what we talked about,
Yes.
fucking with people over communism. They did this in 1990, replacing with a new statute, making it a deportable offense to engage in terrorist activity.
Okay.
Might see where this is going.
Yeah. How do you define
And,
terrorist activity?
yeah, in the ensuing years, the immigrants won a number of key court decisions. In 1995, the U.S. Ninth Court of Appeals rejected the government's contention that the immigrants were not entitled to the same First Amendment protections as the U.S. citizens, which again is an issue today.
Yeah.
That decision also held that the use of secret evidence could not be squared with fundamental principles of due process.
Yes.
3 years later, the Ninth Court ruled that the Constitution does not permit guilt by association. Again, an issue today.
Yes.
Consequently, the court said that deportation of Hamid and Shahid could not go forward because those two, because they were really close to being citizens, there was a hard push to get them to fuck out by the government. They held firm to this all the way till we're going. Anyways, could not go forward, and the government would have to provide the men intended to support illegal group goals of the PFLP. So basically, put up or shut up, right? In June 2001, through Einhorn, which is the judge that was overhearing this at this point, granted Hamid and Shadid's request to dismiss the case, holding that a change of deportation law could not be applied retroactively. However, in October 2001, after something called 9/11, Congress passed the Patriot Act.
Oh dear.
We'll never regret that, right?
Everything speeds up now.
Which expands the grounds for deportation to include giving material support to terrorist organizations.
Or looking at me funny.
Exactly. The Board of the Immigration Appeals sent the case back to Einhorn in 2002. Einhorn would eventually dismiss the case in January, setting the stage for dismissal of the charges. So, which leads us to November 2007. The Board of Immigration Appeals on Tuesday dismissed all charges against Kadir Hamid and Mikhail Shader, who had faced deportation since 87, approved a settlement submitted by the men and their lawyers, the Department of Homeland Security, as part of a government specifically agreed not to charge either. Removal, deportation, excludable or inadmissible, or bring in another type of proceeding, expulsion. Either of them taking away their lawful permanent resident citizens based on any affiliation, association, or information conduct in any way connected to any organization that were identified or described in any testimony or in any other legal document in the case, or based on any statement they made. Exchange, the two men agreed not to apply for citizenship for 3 years. The settlement also stated that Hamid and Shadeh could be subject to deportation or to having permanent residency status revoked if in the future they violated any provisions of the Immigration Naturalization Act. Moreover, they gave up the right to sue the government officials or agencies, including the Justice Department, FBI, DHS, or the INS, and so forth.
That might not be. That might not hold up in court.
Yeah. After thorough analysis and investigation, the United States government has no information indicating that Qadar Musalla Hadid and Mikhail Ibram Shadeh currently possess a threat to the national security, said a spokesman for the NHS. The government made reasonable belief at the time that these men were charged that they were a threat because of their membership in a terrorist organization. What?
That's not what they said.
Yeah, it's just bullshit. Hamid and Shadeh said that they were relieved and that the government's long pursuit of them was over. My family, this is Hamid, my family and I feel a tremendous amount of relief. After 20 years, the nightmare is finally over. I feel vindicated at long last. This is a victory not only for the LA8, but for the First Amendment of the Constitution and for the rights of immigrants. Shadeh, who is, well, at this point, when this is written in 2007, was 50, lives in Oregon, and he is extremely happy to put up with the battle behind him. He had mixed emotions. The government robbed us of our families, of our best and most productive years of our lives. But we will continue acting in our beliefs, loving our country, and defending the Constitution.
Good.
The government's decision to drop charges against the two was a victory for the First Amendment, and all immigrants everywhere said, yeah, this momentum victory for all immigrants who want to express their political views and support their lawful activities of organizations in their home countries fighting for social and political change. That was
Famous.
that was the attorney. Hmm?
You did hit record, you did?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't see the little red thing, that's all.
Yep, it's gone.
Cool.
That was from their attorney, Mark Van de Hart of the National Lawyers Guild.
Nice.
Yep. The government attempted to deport the two all the years of another shameful period of our government's history of targeting certain groups of immigrants for their political beliefs and activities. The government's decision to throw in the towel came 9 months after Bruce, the judge, lambasted federal officials for violating the men's rights. Einhorn accused the government of gross failure to comply with the instructions to turn over to the men potentially exculpatory and other relevant information. In a blistering opinion, Einhorn said that the government conducted a case an embarrassment to the rule of law that left a festering wound. So, yeah, that left her case in limbo for 2 decades and just bullshit. So now we get to the where are they now. Unfortunately, I don't have a where are they now with Knight as in the agent I tried to find. I couldn't find anything. Maybe is, I don't know. Kadir Hamid, by 2007, was described living in a Chino Hills, working at a coffee distributing business. He said a 20 years ordeal was a nightmare, and he felt vindicated. Julie Maneg, a Kenya national. She was the wife of Hamid, by the way. She was one of the 8 detained, and she lived in the shadow of immigration proceedings for years. Bashir Amir reported that he eventually returned to the West Bank. He'd
because he was sick of the violence in America, so he would do it from the West Bank.
Exactly. Barakat became the first of the LA 8 to be naturalized after a federal judge rejected government's denial of his citizenship. Amjad Obeid and Ahmed Obeid, what happened to them? They obtained permanent resident status and otherwise resolved their immigration issues. Named Shavir, let's see. I really don't have an update for them. It looks like the last reported they were still fighting for immigration.
Okay.
Now, Michael, he is now a prominent community activist and organizer. Okay. He likewise expressed relief of the government. He's been on C-SPAN and other Democracy Now, and he has spoken very fervently for what's going on in Gaza. He remains a very active figure today.
Yeah.
So his story is really interesting. I almost did the whole thing just on him, but I felt that was going to kind of steer the spotlight away from everybody else that was in this story. And
the remaining 7 of
yeah, it's pretty fucked up, man.
Yes.
So happy ending, sort of, but you know.
Yeah, I mean that could have gone differently.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been like helicopters at dawn again.
Yeah.
Is that your story?
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I guess we're going to see what's happening now. Hello. Just before every podcast, myself and Seamus put the words FBI and CIA into the Google machine, and we hit the news tab to see what insane madness these organizations are up to this week. In case you think it's all about historical stuff, Seamus will regale us with tales themed after the FBI.
So, you may know about a certain shooting, basically assassination of Preddy, protester in Minnesota. I think it was like the next day after that, Kash Patel, the illustrious leader of the FBI, quote, "You cannot bring a firearm loaded with multiple magazines to any sort of protest that you want. It is simple. You don't have the right to break the law and incite violence." So this pissed off a lot of gun people.
Yeah.
Quote, "Every peaceful Minnesotan has the right to bear arms, including while attending protests protesting, acting as observers or exercising their First Amendment rights. This is the Minnesota Gun Owner Caucus.
Or Second Amendment rights.
Yeah. Trump offers contradictory account of the Tulsa Gabbard presence at an FBI raid in Georgia. So, for whatever reason, the FBI raided the voter office
Yeah.
in Georgia.
Set up the election fraud.
Yep. So, quote, she took a lot of heat 2 days ago because she wanted to Pam in at Pam's assistance. Trump said at the National Prayer Breakfast, which is such a bullshit thing. She went in and she looked at the votes and then wanted to check it out from Georgia. Mind you, 2 or 3 days before this, he said, I don't know what happened. I never heard anything about this. So that's fun. Lockdown mode. If you have an iPhone, lockdown mode will prevent the FBI from getting into your stuff. Because the Washington Post website revealed that whenever their which journalist was this? So, a journalist, her place was raided. Oh shoot, I lost the bit here. Oh, Hanan Natazon. So her place was raided by the FBI, and they seized a bunch of stuff. And this was, her. She won the Pulitzer because she had worked on the January 6th insurrection. So, wonder why they raided her. Anyways, they weren't able to get into her phone because it was in lockdown mode. So, keep that in mind if you have an Apple. Just saying.
Maybe I want the FBI in my stuff.
15 FBI officials have been harassed since their IDs were stolen during a Minnesota ICE protest. So, I don't know if you saw a bunch of vehicles were broken into and some documents were
I did not see that.
Yeah, this was like the night after Preddy was killed. So yeah, some FBI's are getting fucked with. Oh, what a shame.
No.
So I have 2 things about the Epstein files involving the FBI. One is that Barr, Bondi, and FBI were caught lying. They claimed basically that there wasn't documents, but now we know that there was documents. They also lied about where's it at? In the video of the night Epstein died, he took his own life. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There is more footage that they refer to that they see somebody in orange, possibly another convict or prisoner going into his jail, going towards his cell. But they lied about this.
Yeah.
Also, there's also documents that were released recently saying the FBI, an internal memo going back and forth about what to redact, what they should redact, and how to redact it. So, yeah. So a lot of stuff we could do a whole episode. We could do a whole series on the Epstein files.
It's going to be grim.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
I think we only have 2% of it now.
Oh,
so,
Lord.
Yeah. Although Massey just tweeted that somebody gave him the whole thing last night.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
So that's all I got.
All right, then we are into CIA territory. My first is about the NSA, which you gave me earlier on.
Hey, I was wearing protection.
You gave me NSA, but don't worry, I'm being treated for it. The NSA detected foreign intelligence phone call about a person close to Trump. Whistleblower says that Tulsi Gabbard blocked agency from sharing report and delivered it to the White House Chief of Staff. Last spring, the NSA flagged an unusual phone call between 2 members of foreign intelligence who discussed a person close to Donald Trump, according to a whistleblower's attorney who was briefed on details of the call. The highly sensitive communique was brought to the attention of the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, but then she quashed it instead of doing anything. That's an interesting story if you want to read it in The Guardian. Another one, also in The Guardian, Jeffrey Epstein messaged with former CIA Director William Burns. Spokesman says Burns deeply regrets ever meeting with Epstein and cut ties after learning of his conviction. But as we know, Bill Burns will literally meet with literally anybody.
This is true. So, I'll give him that, but still.
Bad news from the CIA. The only thing the CIA was ever good for, which is the World Factbook, is being shut down. Now, this is on CIA.gov. One of the CIA's oldest and most recognizable intelligence publications, the World Factbook, has sunset. The World Factbook serves the intelligence community and the general public as a long-standing one-stop basic reference about countries and communities around the globe, which is true. and it's gone. So thanks. Now the CIA is entirely 100% devoted to stupid shite. And the last one is Guantanamo detainees' lawyers claim office raid by UK was unlawful. The government unlawfully trespassed in a barrister's office and seized legal papers, which is a little bit Watergatey, from her safe in a major national security case the High Court in England has heard. The case centres on claims of complicity by UK intelligence services in torture by the CIA of alleged Al-Qaeda operative Abu Faraj al-Libi, who is in Guantanamo Bay. That is on the BBC site if you want to check it out. And that is my link bit done. And I think we're finished with the episode, are we?
Yep. We'll be back in 2 weeks with
A surprise episode.
Oh, surprise. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll let you know when I discover what it is. All right.
Alrighty, folks.
Bye.
See you then. Bye.